Oh yeah, we're back at it again, guys. Checking out some of that delicious, magnificent homebrew that exists out in the universe. And hey, while I've got your attention, this week we were going to upload the new Dungeon Delve video, but it's not ready yet, but it's going to be ready next week. So if you want to watch me force my friends to learn Pathfinder 2e, better check out the video next week because it's a doozy. I punished them with hot wings. So I guess, oh God, I've never asked you guys to subscribe ever before. So I'm not going to. Instead, turn on notifications. All your notifications. I turn like literally every notification off in my entire life because if there's too many, then I'll go insane. But I want you to turn them on just for this. And then once the video's out and you make sure you looked at it and you're like, okay, I'll watch this in chunks throughout the next couple of weeks. Then you can just turn them all off again. So thanks, appreciate that. But today, we're gonna be looking at some of the top rated, the gourmand, the most exquisite feats that could ever be served to you within the homebrew realm. Not a single wizard of the coast touched one of these. Not a single game designer did either. Well, I mean, technically everybody who published these is a game designer because they designed something for a game. Put reverb on that. I demand it. It's the law. But all of these have been written by the community, and we've looked at a lot of the garbage. So today, let's look at some of the gold. There might be something in here that we're just like, I'm gonna use that in my games. I'm stealing that. But before we do that, if you're wanting to learn how to program, then you should check out today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by boot.dev, where you can learn back-end programming languages like Python and Go, but with a little bit of fun added to keep you learning how to code. When I'm trying to learn a new skill or a language, I really gotta gamify the entire thing. It's just how my brain works. If I'm not getting the constant dopamine release, I'm like, then what is the purpose? And boot.dev makes that really easy, especially for something like programming. And if you've ever been interested in learning how to program, then maybe boot.dev can help you get started. With boot.dev, you'll be getting lessons on how to code, and you can earn XP, levels, achievements, and complete quests to get a top spot on a global leaderboard. Yeah, it teaches you how to program, and also there's a leaderboard. And if you're ever completely stuck, then you can see how the instructor wrote the code. That way you don't have to just slam your face against a wall in order to learn all of this stuff, and then you get stuck, and then you're like, I lost all my motivation. Now there's tons of cool little perks that you're gonna get, and you can see how things were done, so it makes it really dynamic for whatever type of learning is best for you. So if you want to get started, head to boot.dev and use my code XP to level 3 to get 25% off for your first year, so long as you select the annual plan. That's XP to level 3 to get 25% off your first year. There's a link down below. All right, back to the video. Okay, D&D Beyond, what do you have for me today? It better be something amazing. I'm sorting by the top of all time. Do you know who I am? I've seen the bottom of the barrel. I've turned through the scum of Homebrew on this godforsaken website. Now we're going to look at the top of the barrel, which is going to be arguably a lot nicer. And I don't know. I feel like this is just going to be a lot of like, yeah, it's pretty good. Or maybe I'm going to be like, yo, vaccinated is the first one. I love this. I love having a statement at the top of the list here. Prerequisite. Must be a human or human hybrid from another plane. Wow, even the Simic themselves can be vaccinated. Whether because of your parents or the requirements set forth in your schooling, you have received several vaccinations over the course of your life. These have bolstered your immune system without any long-term serious side effects, despite the warnings of charlatans and soothsayers. You receive immunity from disease due to the increased antibodies in your system, as well as gaining advantage on all Constitution saving throws. Plus, you are helping to create herd immunity and raising the overall health of the realms. Yeah, this is the feat that I take when the BBEG of my campaign is Andrew Wakefield. I like this. This is a nice little statement, especially when coming out in 2017. It was awfully popular back in the dark times. Hell yeah, I love this. Co-signed. I don't know if you would actually use this in a game. Maybe this could be a free feat that you could give to your players if they, went and got vaccinated. Anyways, it's true. You want to learn more? I love me an H-Bomber guy vaccination video. It's a good one. Ventriloquist. You've honed a talent for throwing your voice into creatures and objects. Into creatures and objects? Oh my God, it came out of me. I didn't even say the voice. I felt it. It emanated. I felt the sound waves come out of my chest. That would be a scary power to have. You gain the following benefits. Wow, increasing your charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. So this is really helpful if you're playing a bard or a warlock or a sorcerer or a paladin. You can speak without moving your lips. Did you think I was going to do it? I can't do that. I could try. I'll try to read this next part without moving my lips. You can throw your voice when you speak. You can throw your voice when you speak. This is dumb. This is stupid. What a great feat to have. That's so difficult. You can throw your voice when you speak, making it appear to originate from any source that you can see within 20 feet of you. Actually, you can throw it into creatures and objects. That's what she said before, so I'm hoping I can do that. A suspicious creature can use an action to attempt a wisdom insight check contested by your charisma deception check. If the creature's check equals or exceeds your own, it determines that you are the true source of the speech. This is a fun little feat. I've never known anybody to want to play a ventriloquist character in D&D, but this seems like an insanely good ability. I can just see players just thinking about it right now, like, okay, I'm gonna say you suck, but I'm gonna say you suck, and I'm gonna make it think it's his friend who said you suck instead. And you have to roll insight check against my deception, but I'm rogue, so like my deception's like plus 18. It worked. He thinks it was that guy who said it. It's such a D&D adventurer player thing to do, is to just shift blame of nonsense to somebody else so that you don't get in trouble for it. Fantasy parties in these TTRPG games just want to prank people so bad. That's just what they want to do. They want to go in, they want to have endless money, look hot as hell, and then be like, I didn't do that. That guy did that. And then they get away with it. And it's like, that was... peak Dungeons and Dragons. Blind fighting. Oh, this one doesn't have as many views, it seems. It has a lot of upvotes. Blind fighting. Prerequisite. Must have proficiency in the perception skill. Extensive and continuous training in complete darkness, or in some cases with the aid of blindfolds, have allowed you to hone your remaining senses to a razor's edge. This specialized combat training has granted you the ability to perceive your surroundings in ways others couldn't begin to imagine. Whoa! You develop blind sight out to a range of 20 feet. Oh, good golly gosh. That's a good ability to have. Your blind sight can only work in a setting where your character can use his other senses, like hearing and smell. I was about to say that's so specific, or like, oh, that's way too vague. But then I just realized that why don't we specify more situations like this? Like, yeah, this only works if you can hear and smell. It just makes sense. I was about to be like, that's not how you write a D&D thingy. And you have to actually specify the exact moments when you... And instead, I was just like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. You gain advantage on perception checks relying on hearing and scent. I like the idea that there would be a situation where they wouldn't have hearing and scent. Like, I could understand like a silence spell, but an area where they can't smell, that's why they need the vaccinated feet. Beep, 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 beep. Euthanize me. Whipmaster. Whoa. Whipmaster? Better be talking about cars. The whip. Prerequisite. Requires dexterity 13 or higher and proficiency with a whip. What these feel like, besides the vaccinated one, what these feel like these are cope. So this is what I always say about the lowest rated homebrew stuff, is a lot of them are a player who really wanted to have something, and their DM was like, you can't do that. And they were like, I'm going to run a feat where I can do that. And it's really stupid. Hear me out. These to me feel the same, but they're executing it a little better. These are the ideas where the DM was wrong. The DM was right in the lowest rated, and then the DM was wrong in this situation where they were like, man, a whip sucks a lot. 1d4 damage in 2014, not too great. They made it a little better in 2024, but in 2014, it's not too good. What if there was a cool feat that made me better at whips? The DM's like, well, there isn't. And they were like, fine, I'll do it myself. That's what these feel like. So a little bit of cope, in my opinion, but I think they're executed pretty well. Whipmaster, you have mastered the ways of the whip and the intricacies of such an exotic weapon. Okay. Ooh, a little bit of 3.5 coming back to haunt there. Ooh. You gain a +1 bonus to attack rolls you make with a whip. Well, that's kind of like a fighting style. Maybe this should just be a fighting style. Maybe Whipmaster should not be a fighting style. Maybe it should be a feat. No. I don't even think it should be official feat. This works really well as a homebrew feat. Wow. Look where we are. Great job, Jacob. You connected the dots and made a circle. When you hit with a melee attack using a whip, you deal an additional 1d4 damage of whatever type the whip deals. Nice. While you are, I'm imagining a whip that deals bludgeoning damage. That's probably just like a bolus or a flail. A long flail. Yeah, like a whip, but you've got like things on the end of it. That's long flail, right? While you are wielding a whip, other creatures provoke an opportunity attack from you when they enter your reach. That's a little, I mean, Polar Master, sure. That mixed with Sentinel, though. I mean, it's already like that in the 2014 rules. It was like, it's quite strong, me lord. But, you know, fine. And you have advantage on ability checks and attacks made to disarm or grapple enemies when using a whip as a part of the check or attack. I think Colton used this feat in our Icewind Dale game, because I'm remembering this. So I'm saying, I really went, I don't know, maybe it should be a fighting style. I don't know, maybe it should be a feat. Maybe it should just be, maybe it's a good homebrew feat, and I'm out here criticizing it. When I fully just let Colton, I was just like, Colton, go ahead. Take it. Be the whip master. Okay, these have all been really good. And I think for our last one here, we've got Candle Burning at Both Ends, which has a lot of views. Like, it has the most views. So let's see what we got. Adventurers often disregard grievous injury to continue fighting at the expense of their future well-being. You gain the following benefits. Increase your constitution score by 1 to a maximum of 20. All right. If you would fall to 0 hit points and die, instead you may permanently mark a death saving throw as failed, and your hit points become equal to 1/3 your total health, rounded up. If all death saving throws are marked as failed, then your character dies and cannot be resurrected outside of divine intervention. That ability specifically, or like as a concept, divine intervention. If a death save is marked as failed by this ability, then you require that many less successful death saves in order to stabilize. Oh, wow. Wow. I can't die. I'm too busy for that. Rollins, captain of the watch. I like the flavor text. That's fun. I really like this. This is cool. This is indomitable human spirit. This would be a really cool homebrew rule to put into your games instead of being like a feat that you take. Like when you start the game, you're like, when you guys die, you can choose to just come back, but you'll lose a portion of your health, and also you will permanently mark that death saving throw as failed, and now it takes 2 to die or 2 to come back, which is really interesting. I'm not a big fan of the 1/3 total health being rounded up. I think that's a deal breaker. I don't think a lot of players want to do that. I, as a player, wouldn't want to do that. That's a ridiculous amount of health to sacrifice. Instead, I would just cut that part and instead have it be the way that it is. Here's what I would do if I was doing this. I wouldn't make it a feat. I would make it an optional rule that I would play with for our games. Your con doesn't increase by 1 and you don't lose 1/3 of your health. Instead, when you fall to 0 hit points or die, you can instead permanently mark a death saving throw as failed. And then if 3 are marked as failed, then you're dead. You can't come back except for maybe a wish spell. Then if a death save is marked as failed by this ability, then you require that many less successful death saving throws in order to stabilize as well. So it's like slowly getting better. It becomes a lot riskier where if you're down to 1, it's like 2 rolls and then you find out if you're dead or not. Or it's 1 roll and you find out if you're dead or not. And at that point, you might just take the gambit to be like, I'll come back a 3rd time, but then that's it. If I die again, then I'm dead forever. That's really interesting for like a hardcore kind of game. That would be a cool way to run Tomb of Annihilation too. If you don't want to have like super awful death curse, instead you could run something like this, which is really interesting. I like this homebrew rule a lot. I think it could work for some people's games. So I don't know. Maybe you take that away from this video if you think that that's like a fun rule. I think it's cool. This is the first time we've done one of these homebrew videos, and I'm like, whoa, maybe I'll steal that. Maybe I'll actually use that in a game. Maybe I'll use that for the Tomb of Annihilation game I'm currently running offline for some friends, where I've set it in Magic the Gathering Ixalan. I don't know. It sounds kind of fun. Anyways, this has been really fun. It's enjoyable to look at the top rated feats. I'm having a good time reading some of these awesome creations that people have made. So if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. And also keep an eye out for next week. New Dungeon Delve episode. It's going to be quite slappy. It's going to be quite Pathfinder-y. I like Pathfinder. Okay, bye.